A mass shooting at a Catholic school in Minneapolis.
It's my strongest desire that no state, no community, no school ever experiences a day like this.
I just ran under the pew, and then I covered my head.
An update on the victims, the shooter, and his connections to the school. Plus, new reaction pouring in.
New holiday weekend rain chances. I'll show you the hours you may want to make indoor plans.
And thank you for being with us here at 7 o'clock. I'm Dan Haggerty as we take a live look at the White House tonight, where the flag is flying at half-staff. President Trump ordering this for all flags across the country tonight. 2 children are dead after that shooting at Annunciation Catholic School in Minneapolis, a 10-year-old and an 8-year-old. 14 other kids are hurt. They range in age from 6 to 15. Thankfully, all 14 of those kids are expected to survive. Here are a few of the details that we've gathered so far. 4 children have been released from the hospital. The shooter, identified as 23-year-old Robin Westman, legally purchased those guns used in the attack. And the FBI is investigating this as domestic terrorism and a hate crime. Even though this happened hundreds of miles away, whenever tragedy like this does happen, questions come up about safety and security in our community. WRAL's Carly Haynes is live outside of the SBI office in Raleigh to get some of those answers to the hard questions that a lot of parents are wondering about tonight, Carly.
And Dan, we did speak with the SBI, and we also spoke with the National School Security Consultant, and both of them emphasized the need for these preventative threat assessments and then also preparations across all situations and all different types of buildings. For instance, that National School Security Consultant said that faith-based schools may do drills inside a school building, but do they also do them inside the corresponding church or during Mass? Each physical structure is going to be different and therefore require different security measures. Now, in the case today, students were inside a church. It's early in the investigation. We do not know what specific security protocol was in place, but the consultant we spoke with said in general, hundreds of students and staff could be attending a school Mass and potentially others in the community.
So it presents challenges such as how do you manage access control, who's coming in to attend the Mass along with the hundreds of students and staff you have, who is going to monitor those who come in and out, and the overall setting where the rituals are going on, in addition to participating in that event.
Police say the shooter, Robin Westman, posted a manifesto before the shooting, which law enforcement has since removed. And this is where those preventative behavioral threat assessments could have come into play. Now, security is constantly evolving. Vulnerabilities are constantly being discovered. So I do want to emphasize that school security is just one part of a large puzzle of trying to prevent these situations, Dan.
Right. And on that point, Carly, one of the things that really stood out to people today was that the shots were fired outside of that building, inside, shooting through those windows to get inside. How do drills and protocols account for something like that?
And once again, still early in the investigation, but it's possible, let's say those doors were locked, that the shooter couldn't get inside the building. So maybe that was some security measures at work there. But this is really also where that see something, say something protocol is going to be important. Did somebody notice a suspicious person on school grounds and they didn't say something, they didn't alert authorities? Or was there concerning behavior that somebody saw on social media? Did somebody come across that manifesto, for example, and not flag it? So school systems really have to take a lot into consideration when they're thinking about both prevention and reaction.
Right. All right, Carly, thank you. And those are questions that authorities you will be looking into. Thanks again to Carly. And I know that many of you see this news today of the shooting in Minnesota, and you might start to think to yourself, here we go again. School just started, and we've already got another school shooting. This now makes 5 premeditated school shootings involving an active shooter so far in 2025. One in Tennessee in January, one in Texas in February. You probably remember the one at Florida State University in April, and in May, a shooting at a school in California. We have seen shootings in places similar to what we saw in Minneapolis also, schools with a church involved with the school. Last December, 2 people died at Abundant Life Christian School in Madison, Wisconsin. In 2023, 6 people died at the Covenant School in Nashville, Tennessee. Schools, churches, festivals, grocery stores, these sorts of places are known as soft targets, a place or thing that is relatively unprotected or more vulnerable. And over the years, we have tried to make these places less vulnerable and more protected. We look at the new security measures, the new training, the new technology, new laws, old laws, new leadership, better ways to protect our kids. And to be honest, there is not a whole lot of new ground to tread on here, to discuss. But in case you haven't been keeping track exactly, let's show you where we are on this path. Churches have been targets in the past, as you know, as we just said, and the people in charge of those churches know this, so they have taken steps to prepare. A sheriff's office in North Carolina, in Iredell County, offers these classes for free to churches. They call it Church Shield. There are also private companies doing this. Faith Secure has worked with churches in the Charlotte area. Other churches form these safety committees, making sure an officer is present there or that someone in the congregation is armed, that they have a firearm. Schools also have started using a lot of new technology that we've been talking about. And I'm talking about those weapons detectors at the front door. Districts all over our area have these now, and they do work. Just this morning, a detector spotted a BB gun at Smithfield-Selma High School in Johnston County. Then there's gun laws. Now, there are 2 schools of thought here. Harden those soft targets by arming more people or putting restrictions on people who are trying to get and own guns. North Carolina's lawmakers have taken a more pro-gun posture over the past few years. In 2023, a state law passed allowing permit holders to carry a handgun at religious services. Earlier this year, a state law passed letting private school teachers, parents, or volunteers carry their guns on campus during school hours. And there are examples of people, there have been, armed inside their church, stopping an active shooter. Last year, when a woman opened fire at Lakewood Church in Houston, it was 2 armed off-duty officers who fired back and stopped her. Just 2 months ago, a man with a long gun fired shots outside a church in Michigan, and 2 church employees returned fire, stopping him. But arming civilians or posting officers doesn't always work, and there are famous examples of this. During the school shooting in Parkland, Florida, the armed SRO failed to go inside and confront the shooter. During the school shooting in Uvalde, Texas, armed police officers waited over an hour to confront the shooter inside. Right here in Raleigh, the first person shot and killed in a Hedingham shooting was an armed police officer on his way to work. Now, the shooting in Hedingham, in that neighborhood, is also a pretty good example of how our legal system is changing to respond to these shootings. What I mean is people who knew the shooter, people who may have provided access to the gun they used, those people can now face serious consequences. The father of the teenager charged in Hedingham got 1-year probation for failing to secure that gun. After the school shooting outside of Detroit in 2021, the parents of the teenage gunman there were sentenced to 10 years in prison for failing to secure the gun and failing to respond to their son's mental health problems. Now, I also mentioned the restrictions on guns, making guns harder to buy, making others illegal. Some people think that is the answer. The result of tougher gun laws are actually pretty nuanced. The RAND Corporation looked at thousands of studies, and they found some evidence that rules banning the sale of assault weapons and requiring permits can lead to fewer mass shootings. But other laws, things like age requirements, restrictions based on domestic violence or mental illness, as well as extreme risk protection orders, that's where police can confiscate someone's guns before they have even been convicted of a crime. Those did not conclusively lead to fewer mass shootings, though we should note those studies showed those policies were effective in decreasing suicide and violent crime as a whole. All that said, it's really not shocking that restrictions don't show quick results, considering how many people already have easy access to guns in America. Even if we stopped selling guns today, we would still have more firearms in this country than people, tens of millions more. And I get it. I know sometimes this seems like an impossible problem to solve, but there are moves being made, new laws being written. We laid out a few of them tonight, and we'll keep watching to see how they help. or how they don't. Let me know what you think. Tell me your ideas on this topic, maybe some of your concerns. Email dan@WRAL.com. Tell me what's on your mind, and we'll go in depth. Brian?
Dan here at the WRAL Live Center, new at 7 o'clock. We are hearing from North Carolina Diocese about what happened today in Minneapolis. First, the Diocese of Raleigh, and Bishop Luis Serrama says that he heard about the shooting just after he wrapped up what he described as a joy-filled mass at one of the schools within the Diocese of Raleigh. And he issued a statement saying, "May God help us to always persevere in his love, even when we are faced with senseless tragedies such as this." Also this evening, we are hearing from the Diocese of Charlotte. They have 19 schools across western North Carolina with about 6,000 students. And today they sent a letter home with parents saying that they are reviewing their security measures.
All right, Brian, thank you. Other news to talk about: a school bus and a pickup truck collided in Moore County tonight. We're working to find out if anyone was hurt and really exactly what happened here. WRAL's Willie Danley is out there. He's live at the scene, giving us an update on where things stand. What do we know, Willie?
Well, Dan, just about 10 minutes ago, this scene on Bass Carthage Road in Moore County opened back up and the road reopened. But when we got here, it was pretty hectic. There was a bus right there behind me in that ditch. I want to take you to some footage that Sky 5 captured here from above. According to the state trooper who was on scene, the bus was traveling west and a truck hauling a trailer was traveling east. That truck that was hauling a trailer ran off the road and overcorrected. The driver, then attempting to regain control, collided with that school bus. The school bus ran off the road and into a creek, and that truck overturned. 22 people were on board that bus, including the school driver. That bus had just come from a local hospital. 4 of those students were transported to the hospital, and multiple others said that they were being taken to the hospital by their parents. But the state trooper did confirm with me that there were no serious injuries involved in this crash. As of now, it remains under investigation. We're going to continue to take a look at this story. Willie Danley, WRAL News, live in Moore County.
All right, thank you, Willie. Still ahead, North Carolina still does not have a state budget. So what the heck's taking so long? Lawmakers have some disagreements, and not just between Democrats and Republicans. People within the same party can't seem to agree. Kat?
And this weather is unbelievable, but we know we can't hold on to it forever. I'll have a closer look at the changes we have in store for the weekend coming up.
North Carolina still does not have a state budget. I mean, yeah, we got that little mini budget that they passed last month, but there's a whole lot riding on getting the big, complete new budget finished. Things like teacher raises, a new children's hospital, tax cuts, more money for the health plan, and so many other things. I spoke to WRAL state government reporter Paul Spey, and he said the holdup is a disagreement within the Republican Party. All right, Paul, let's talk about this. So there's still no agreement on a budget. Why?
Well, it all starts with personal income taxes and how much lawmakers want to cut. You have the House that says, hey, we're headed toward a fiscal cliff in a couple years. Maybe we should slow down with this plan we had in place to keep cutting and cutting and cutting. The Senate, on the other hand, has historically been more aggressive. And it all, everything else comes after that. We can't figure out state employee raises. We can't figure out funding for the children's hospital until they figure out how much revenue they're going to have after they set the tax rate.
When we talk about disagreements in the state legislature, it's often between Republicans and Democrats. This is a little different. This is members of the House, members of the Senate, and two types of kind of positions moving forward when it comes to taxes.
That's right. Republicans have control of both chambers. One thing that the House Republicans have in their pocket is they had support from Democrats this time because they proposed higher teacher raises and a little more spending. So it's interesting to see that this time. And House Democrats today came out and sort of pounded the table.
If it's a culture war bill, they have us back in this building ready to rock and roll. And not one of those bills puts more money in your pocket. Not one of those bills brings your prices down. Not one of those bills gets your health care costs under control.
We are seeing the public displays of disagreement there. Behind the scenes, though, is anything happening? Are they getting closer to some compromise?
It's hard to tell.
Yeah.
The person I spoke with today said that he hasn't seen much progress. And even Senate Republicans today in their statement, they said, we don't like negotiating through the press by putting out statements that point the fingers, but we need to let people know that we've put out some proposals that the House hasn't taken.
State employees, they want to be able to have their raises. They want to know what their future looks like. We want to advocate for these folks, but we have to let the process play out.
You mentioned that date in September. Is that kind of the next thing we're waiting for, or is there a potential for something to happen before then?
With the budget, no, I don't think so. Yeah. I think it's possible that the next time you see state legislators in Raleigh, it's for other bills. They have some bills out there that deal with guns and concealed carry. Now, they could come back and try to override the governor's veto on things like that. So you could see them back here, maybe not for raises for teachers or state employees.
Well, all right. The wait continues. Right. Paul, thank you. So, Kat Campbell joining us now. What a beautiful week we have had. The weather has just been absolutely gorgeous. Nothing to complain about. I know we got a little bit of rain coming this weekend, but it's not a washout. We can deal with this.
Not at all. And I mean, this kind of weather for August is just really unreal, especially after the heat that we endured in June and July. It almost feels like a treat, a light at the end of the tunnel after the big heat that we had, and still no more big heat in sight for now. But let's take a look at the weekend. The humidity will be up a little bit, but for August standards, it's still going to feel great this weekend. Highs are in the lower 80s. There will be a small chance for rain Saturday, Sunday, and even Monday for Labor Day. We've got a small 20% chance of rain in the forecast as well. But let's track the next weather maker. Our next system to watch is going to be this one. We'll have this wave of low pressure associated with some rain around it. And then we've got a front. And what happens is we may actually see that front act like a highway and steer some of that moisture into North Carolina. We'll watch that closely for the day Saturday. But tomorrow and Friday, we took out rain chances. It was only 20% to begin with. Saturday, we'll watch especially the late afternoon and evening hours for perhaps some of that rain. The bulk of the rain still looks like it's going to stay to our south this weekend, but just enough of it could creep far enough north to make it into our area. It's a 30% chance as of right now for both Saturday and Sunday. Tomorrow is when we will get in the high resolution model data for Saturday, and that's the data that really allows us to put together an hour by hour rain chances graphic for you. So we'll have that for you tomorrow with updates. This morning, though, we've got to talk about this weather. 57 was the low at RDU. Tonight, we're going to be even lower than that. And this is why the air is going to be very dry. Dry air, light wind, clear skies, what you need to reach the maximum cooling potential. Tonight we'll have a little more cloud cover, but with dew points in the 40s, which is, again, just unbelievable for August, we'll really see temperatures fall. The sunset making it hard to see the DBAT there in Durham, but the Bulls are in town this week. If you're looking for something to do outside, it's going to be a perfect week for baseball and a great night for s'mores. Get the fire pit going. By 9 o'clock, we're at 68 degrees. 10 o'clock, 65 tonight. Tomorrow, high temperatures are back in the low to mid 80s. There will be a bit more cloud cover out there tomorrow. It's a little bit warmer. Friday, a southwest wind returns, and Friday, we should be back in the mid 80s. Football Friday in great shape. 84 degrees at 6 o'clock for the high school football games. 8 o'clock, 80 degrees. And by the time kids are leaving the games, temperatures should be in the low to mid 70s. Really nice weather. We've had a stretch of nice Football Friday weather. Hopefully that continues, knock on wood. Over the next 7 days, low to mid 80s every day. Not bad at all. Tonight's our last night in the 50s. We'll be in the 60s after that, though, so still not too warm, not too humid at night. Hopefully you can open up the windows, let some fresh air in tonight. I did that throughout the day today, and it was really nice. We'll keep an eye on the weekend rain chances for you, but as of right now, I wouldn't totally scrap outdoor plans this weekend. Just make sure you've got your WRAL weather app on hand. Dan?
Sounds good. Thank you, Kat. And we always want to remind you, when the weather's not so nice, if there's some inclement weather coming through or you see some breaking news in your area, report it. Help us to tell the story. Go to WRAL.com/report it to send us your video, pictures, or information. Hey, let's end things tonight on a positive note, shall we? Tonight's One Last Thing is about clogging and the local team that's dancing for a national championship. That's next. A dance team in Garner is our one last thing tonight. And they're not just any dance team. They're the defending champs of the official folk dance of North Carolina. Yes, that is a thing. And no, it is not the shag. These are the Feet on Fire Cloggers. They're rehearsing there for their upcoming national clogging competition this week in Nashville, Tennessee. Now, if you aren't familiar with clogging, think of it like tap dancing kind of. The dancers wear shoes with 4 metal plates on the bottom. The shoes click and clack around while they dance. The style is kind of a little bit of an Irish jig, part step dance and part swing, you could say. Clogging has a rich history, though, in our state here in North Carolina. It was developed during the colonial period in the southern Appalachian Mountains. It got popular then in the 1920s and became a fixture in mountain music festivals. Then in 2005, the General Assembly passed a bill making clogging the official folk dance of North Carolina. The Feet on Fire clogging team, they embrace both the traditional and contemporary styles of clogging, I'm told. They practice for 4 hours a week, and on weekends they compete, traveling across the state. And last year, again, they won the national title in traditional dance. They're good, aren't they? Look at the video. And this year, they're hoping to defend that title. It's tough to get on top. It's harder to stay there. We caught up with the coach ahead of their trip.
I'm just proud to see them get on stage and do what they love. At the end of the day, if it ends in a national championship or not, we're having fun and they're doing what they love and we're making memories along the way.
So good luck to them. Good luck. Have that fun. And, you know, if you end up winning that national title, that'd be fun, too. We'll be sure to keep everybody updated next week on how they did. We'll check back in with them. For now, thank you for being with us tonight, making WRAL your choice for local news. Our next newscast is at 10 o'clock. That's over on Fox 50. And then we'll see you back here at 11 o'clock on WRAL. We leave you with this gorgeous shot of White Lake. Have a great night.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.